Hello and welcome to KU Vision, the news and entertainment programme for the Kingston area.
On today's show, what happens when the newsprint fades? Who cares about the people behind the stories?
Driving innovation as the Kingston students inspire speed in the electric bike design.
Val-Thorens, Les Arcs, or is it St Mark's Hill Surbiton? Kingston University is not just a place to study, but a place to develop your ideas and skills to an industry level. The students from the School of Mechanical and Automotive Engineering have created an electric motorbike which broke the land speed record in 2013. Here's what they have been doing since then.
The team behind the Iron Horse electric motorbike were at Kingston Market to raise awareness of the university's racing projects to members of the public. We spoke to Ryan Duffy, one of the Iron Horse team members, to discuss what they were hoping to achieve from bringing the bike to Kingston Market.
So firstly, thanks for stopping me and talking to me. So we're here today to promote the KU Racing, which is Kingston's electric racing team, and the vehicles that they have. So within KU Racing, we have an electric racing bike team, we have the Formula Student team. And both vehicles are actually on display today. The main idea behind today is to take what we're doing at the university and display it within Kingston. So show local businesses what's happening, the Sunday shoppers, the Saturday shoppers, people who are around for the weekend, just show them what's going on at Kingston and maybe get some inspiration and get people excited about electric motorsports. In 2013 we did smash the UK land speed record for an electric motorcycle in Elvington, New York at a massive airfield. Unfortunately I wasn't there on the day, but I did receive an email that said, "Dear Ryan, today we have broken the UK land speed record," and that was an amazing feeling to feel it. To be a part of a team that's gone and had an amazing achievement like that was really special, and it can only happen in somewhere like Kingston. After that land speed record, immediately development works already started on a new fairing to try and bring that speed up and smash our records even further. And in fact, this will be the second year that students are working with CTEC, one of our sponsors, in order to develop a new aerodynamic fairing to help us smash that land speed record and maybe help us be more competitive around the Isle of Man.
Kingston University's automotive department is at the forefront of green technology. For over 5 years, students have been developing electric racing motorbikes. Their most recent success was in the Isle of Man, where the team came fourth in the 2013 TT0 race and placed first out of all of the universities. Kingston University opened its doors to a number of highly respected experts and professionals, as well as alumni who had previously worked on the bike, to recognise the achievements of the bike and the students themselves, as well as to try and get some more sponsors and donors on board. This is some of the team that are behind the development of the Iron Horse.
Hi, my name is Laila Gursel. I am BSc Motorsport Engineering final year student.
My name is Francesco Rotoli. I'm a third year student of BSc Motorsport Engineering.
So the inspiration from the team comes from the history here. Kingston have been racing bikes since within the last 10 years or so, and since 2009 they've been racing electric bikes. And that's really interesting for the team to be a part of that history and the continuity of that. So that inspires us. Also the fact that the bike has finished on the podium at the Isle of Man, and the development that's gone into the bike really inspires the team, and meeting the riders and people at the Isle of Man is really inspiring. Also the fact we're working on a bike that has the UK land speed record. That's something that not everyone can work with. In fact, it's a very, very exclusive club, the people who can work on the bike, who have a record like that. So it's exclusive to Kingston and the students here and our industry partners. We're looking at pushing the speed record boundaries even further. We have students working on that with us. We're looking to go back to the Isle of Man and repeat, if not improve, on our best performances that we've put in there. Also, we're looking to draw more attention to the bike. It's all about promotion, publicity and development for us. And it is really difficult when you have that back catalogue of great race finishes, land speed records, absolutely unique design. So it really is important for the team to push the boundaries of what the bike's done before, to go further and do more.
The team are constantly looking for more donors and sponsors to further the development and potential of the bike. If you would like to get in contact with the KU racing team, this can be done through their website, Facebook or Twitter.
Hello, we are joined in the studio with Dr. Robert, Raina and Leila. Hi Dr. Robert, thank you for coming. Just some few questions. How is the engineering game beneficial to this university?
Well, we're involved in the TT bike project, and it's a project which we feel is massively beneficial to the university in a whole variety of ways. For the students involved, it's a fantastic chance to be involved in a real living, breathing project. They get to enhance their skills, not only in terms of their engineering skills. Obviously there's a large engineering aspect of it. The bike has to be designed, built and constructed, but also other skills such as your project management, your organisation, your logistical skills. And I think it's a fantastic opportunity. For the university, it's also a fantastic advertisement for the university to have the Kingston University name embellished across this exotic, fast-moving vehicle, and put out and advertised across the world at events such as the TT race, which is viewed by millions of people across the world. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
That sounds amazing. So Laila, you have been involved with the project in the past year. How have these skills helped you?
Well, as Dr. Robert said, it's not just engineering skills that we gain, which I came to learn here in Kingston University, but in such a project you get management skills, you get communication, teamwork, you go out, you talk to industry, to your potential employers, and as a result of this I have secured myself a graduate position with the Jaguar Land Rover, which is thanks for the project.
Oh, that's wicked. Robert, how did the team get the funding for the electric bike?
Well, we get a large amount of funding from the university. We get a nice chunk from them. We're very grateful to the university for this money. In addition to this, we also go out and we have to secure funding from external bodies. So we do an awful lot of PR work. For example, we're here talking to you today. We've done trade show events, PR events, to attract other external companies to come and invest in our team.
Okay. Laila, just one more question. What activities have been accomplished this year and what are your future plans?
Right, so far, since summer 2014, we went to Low Carbon Vehicle Show at Millbrook, where we displayed the bike with one of our sponsors, Wayan, Sten. Then we organised, as you saw previously in video, Kingston Market Square. We displayed our bike and the Formula Student car as a KU Racing logo. After that, the next day, we went to Go Motorsport Live, MSA organised event at Snetterton, which we also took advantage of and had our first test for the bike, which went successfully. After that, we had private viewing event for KU Racing vehicles, exclusively for our sponsors and our supporters. After that, just now in November, well, previous months, we returned from Motorcycle Live, where we displayed our bike for the whole week, and we met a lot of people, supporters, potential sponsors. And after this, we are planning 2 tests, and of course Isle of Man and Moto-E if we secure funding.
Okay. Thank you, Robert and Laila, for coming to the studio. It was a pleasure having you guys here.
Thank you.
Today's top news stories make the headlines and fill our screens for days as the event or disasters unfold. However, as the tragedies fade into the past, very few news reports follow the individual tragedy of people who are left. A Kingston University student experienced one such personal tragedy that will not fade into the distant past. Right.
In the future. It's something which is unstable and changeable. People don't often complain about the presentation of the news, and I wasn't different from these people until the tragic day of my life. On the 15th of July, it was the accident in Moscow Underground. 27 people died, 271 people injured. It was a major accident within Russian underground from all time of its existence. TV, internet talking about this accident, people in panic. They want to know the reason, they want to know explanations what happened. My name is Varvara and I'm a student at Kingston University. I had the summer holidays, I went to Moscow. My dearest and closest friend Mary is waiting for me. She just turned 20. We're going to concerts, parties, we're traveling together. It's the happiest summer for us, for both of us. Mary goes to work. She can't longer speak to me. She's in a hurry. She's late to work. She runs to the tube. We're sending to each other messages, planning our next weekends. We're supposed to call each other after 10 minutes when she will go out from the tube. After 20 minutes, I decided to call her. Nobody is answering. After 30 minutes, I decided to call her again. And I heard a weak voice that, "Barbara, I'm in an ambulance. Everything is okay." And I can't believe that. It was like, what? Why? Why it's Mary? Why she's in the ambulance? I don't understand nothing. And then the message from doctors. Mary is dying. She's having a broken lungs. She's having a paralysis of upper and lower limbs. If she survives, she won't be able to stand up, to walk, to sit. She even not able to move her hands. And it was the most terrifying and terrible 40 days at the door of the hospital because it was impossible to enter her room. The doctors, they was afraid of journalists. On TV, all they don't say anything. In the flow of the events, people gradually forget about this accident. Mary asks the priest to come. She even can't breathe by herself. She barely says to the priest, "I'm scared." And after 2 days, Mary dies. According to one of the programs, the short message, another victim of the accident died in a hospital, but this victim is my closest friend. Why other channels are silent? It's been 40 days since the accident happened, and everyone forgot about it. So it's how the world of news works. But is it the right way?
The Russian media is not alone in forgetting yesterday's headlines. Many TV channels and newspapers do not follow up on the stories of the past. We're joined in the studio here by Professor of Journalism at Kingston University, Brian Cathcart. Thank you for joining us. Okay, can you explain why newspapers and broadcasts so quickly forget events like these?
Yes, I mean it's a sort of harsh reality, but news is about new things. It's about what's just happened. Journalists write about and they broadcast about what's happened today, not what happened yesterday, and that's because people want to know about what's happening today, what's just fresh. Yes, there's a sense in which journalists have a responsibility to deliver a deeper understanding of events. But it's different, and it's certainly not at the front of what they do. At the front of what they do is just telling people what's just happened.
So with events such as these, there's always a mad scramble to be the first person on the scene to actually film it. Do you think there's a better way to do this that isn't so invasive?
I wish I could say there was, but I don't think there's any way around this. News is always going to be competitive because, as I say, people want to have what's just happened, and they want to get there as soon as possible, and they want to have the pictures of it as soon after it's happened as possible, or they want to film it while it's happening. And I don't think there's a way around that. It's never going to be very dignified. I mean, every journalist will tell you that they've done things that they're embarrassed about or ashamed of to get to the story first, or to sometimes to prevent the other guy getting to the story first. That's the way of the industry, and again, it's geared to what people expect and want. We want to be told as soon as possible. We want to see the earliest possible pictures. Around that, I'm afraid there is, obviously you can't have untrammeled intrusion, but and journalists have to behave according to a code. But within the code, there's always going to be rush, and I'm afraid it's always going to be quite a rude and uncomfortable experience when you're in the news.
Do you think there is an alternative way to be able to follow people affected by the events such as these in the media?
I think that there's always been a responsibility for journalists to follow up their stories, to say that you just don't forget about it completely, and that's a responsibility partly because you've engaged with these people and you don't just drop them and walk away. That's a sort of personal level. But there's also an obligation to give the public a deeper understanding of what news is about. So you try to tell some of the stories behind the stories. A very good example, for example, is the way in which the British press has taken an interest in the casualties of Afghanistan, the military casualties, and they report now on the people, the long-term injured and wounded from Afghanistan, from the British forces, in a way that they never reported on the aftermath of conflict before. I think that's very healthy.
So, Professor Brian Cathcart, thank you very much for joining us.
A pleasure.
Esports. The concept of playing competitive video games online has grown rapidly in popularity in recent times. We followed a Kingston University team as they followed the preparation for the Regional League of Legends tournament. Lewis Tyson has his report.
League of Legends is a free-to-play multiplayer online battle arena, or MOBA for
really
short.
well.
It was developed and released by Riot Games in October 2009. Currently, it is the most popular game on the planet, and as of January 2014, over 67 million people play, and 27 million of those play every day. Over the past 5 years, League of Legends has produced a huge, active, competitive scene. With the 2014 World Championships out of the way, we followed Kingston University on their journey through the beginning of the NUEL tournament. This is going to be the first time Kingston has ever competed as a university. We caught up with the captain of Kingston's top team. Could you introduce yourself and tell us your role in the team?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm Serge Giuliani and I'm the jungler and the captain for KU Gaming for Kingston University.
How long have you been playing League of Legends for?
Since season 1, so a couple of years now.
Is this your first time competing?
Yeah, competitively like this, outside of like the in-game solo queue, yeah, it's my first time.
How have you been preparing for the tournament?
Just sort of getting to know each other, just outside of the game as well as inside of the game by sort of doing practice games, normal games, some ranked games every now and then, that's about it.
Do you feel confident in winning?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have as good a chance as any other team of winning, but it sort of depends because right now we don't have as much synergy as teams who have been playing longer for, so right now we have to rely on our sort of personal skill, like all of it tying together.
We went to Oxford Circus in London to watch them play against other universities. While they were playing, they were streamed live onto the internet. In this stage of the tournament, they were up against 2 other universities to progress. We got to talk with Jacob from the team that organised the event.
I'm Jacob Harrison, and I am co-head admin for the Student Gaming League.
What is the tournament?
It's the European Gaming League's student tournament. So we actually run unlike other leagues, we don't do every weekend. We do occasional events and qualifiers. There's going to be 4 of them, followed by grand finals in, I think, the beginning of April next year.
Where do the winners of this competition go on to?
They actually go on to the grand finals, which is going to be at Salou Fest in Spain. Salou's about close to Barcelona. It's kind of a week-long sports and recreation festival where EGL are hosting their SGL finals. So their Salou Fest is opening up to esports, and SGL are going to be there.
Are there any other events that you're involved with like this coming up?
There are going to be 2 more qualifying tournaments, so that 4 teams will go to the grand finals. They'll join the winner of today and University of Leeds, who won the Manchester qualifier about a month ago.
Although Kingston played...
So that article about esports, Fatima, have you ever actually watched esports being played?
Yes, I have actually. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, especially with how big it's getting. Some of those stadium scenes, it's huge. It's like filling Wembley. It's kind of ridiculous, quite how much this has become a social thing.
I think it's also amazing how people from all backgrounds can get together and play these games, because usually we have a lot of segregation going on. So I think this is a great way to bring everyone from different backgrounds and cultures together.
Definitely. Okay, so stay tuned to our YouTube channel. Okay, the Kingston area has many pubs, the Antelope and Surbiton being one of them. The difference? They brew their own beer. So we take a behind-the-scenes look at how the beer is made and talk to some of the people in charge of it.
My name's Peter Brew, and I'm the manager of the Antelope and also one of the brewers of Big Smoke Brewery. Probably started brewing about 4 years ago. We were running another pub called Sussex Arms. Myself and Nick, who I brew with now, decided we wanted to try some brewing. I'd done some extract brewing when I was at uni back in Australia. And love beer.
So for Big Smoke Brew Co, we're brewing real ale, which is what we like to brew and what we sell most of here at the Antelope. Okay, so the brew process that we go through is much the same as I suppose any other small brewer. So you start off with measuring out the grains, getting your grist ready, heating up your raw liquor in the HLT, hot liquor tank. Then from there it is mixing the hot liquor with the grist or the grain bill into the mash tun. From there you transfer through into the kettle, and at the same time sparge. Sparging is rinsing some more hot liquor through the grain bed to get the residual sugar out. Once your kettle's full, you start your boiling process, adding your hop additions throughout. For the boil process is anywhere between 60 to 90 minutes or longer, depending on what you want to do. From there we put it through the chiller, through the plate chiller, and it goes into the fermenter. Target usually around about 20 degrees Celsius, and then we pitch our yeast in once we're full. From there it ferments in 3 to 4 days. We crash it down to 6 degrees to help clear the beer a bit, and flocculate the yeast. We then bring it up slightly, add the dry hops if we're dry hopping, and let it sit there for another 3 to 4 days, and then we rack into the casks.
I like this beer, and I like the beer especially from this pub, because it's being brewed locally, which is just right there. It's always fresh. It always tastes good. You're never gonna get a bad pint.
I think the biggest difference between craft beer and Carlsberg or any other mainstream beer is just the taste of it. It's more natural, original. It comes straight from the pub. It doesn't come from a factory. It feels like it's homemade. It's got a different taste to it.
So the reason I like this pub is the variety of craft beers. So it's the fact that on tap they have a high variety of different ales, different bitters, different lagers.
The opportunity to drink craft beers, better taste, better difference in what goes on. You can get Carlsberg, Heineken, Foster's pretty much anywhere, but the boys want to come out for a nice beer evening. It's nice to have a different choice, and you get to choose what you want to do, what you want to drink. Makes for a better evening altogether.
Most parents will be delighted to hear their sons and daughters were spending the evening in the library. However, they may not be impressed if it was the new library in Kingston Town Centre.
Today we're in Kingston upon Thames, a fun, vibrant and culture-filled area which is also the home of Kingston University. Most of the students studying here spend the majority of their nightlife in Kingston's clubs. Clubs such as Hippodrome, McCluskey's, Prism and Bacchus. But there's a particular club that most clubgoers have either taken a trip to or heard of during their time here. That club is Amagi. Amagi is well known for its great music, affordable drinks and also compact space.
Morden Hall Park is just 6 miles from Kingston and is a national treasure which has been family owned for years. It's now run by the National Trust, who are returning it to its former glory with a modern function. The estate now provides green energy technology and while maintaining its 18th century charm.
I'm Susie and I work as Commercial and Visitor Experience Officer here at Morden Hall Park with the National Trust. Morden Hall was built in 1770 by Richard Garth. Over the years it has seen many uses and today brings in valuable income, allowing us to run the park according to its donors' wishes. In 1830, William Lambs, husband of the second Garth daughter Elizabeth, leased the building and set up a school for young gentlemen for approximately 75 boys aged 8 to 17. The school ran until Morden Hall was sold on by the Garth family in 1867. Morden Hall was then bought by Gilliatt Hatfield, and the Hatfields remained owners of the estate until it was donated to the National Trust in 1941. They are an eccentric family who added some iconic features to the park, such as the rose garden and stable yard. Morden Hall became a convalescent hospital during the First World War, and after the war's end, Gilliatt Hatfield paid the Salvation Army to keep the hospital running. It then remained a hospital until it was given to the National Trust in 1941. The Stableyard Regeneration Project began in 2008, incorporating photovoltaic panels, a mixture of insulation types, an air source heat pump and wood-burning stove. We also have an exhibition space with a changing programme of temporary exhibitions throughout the year.
I was invited to be part of an earlier event this year, the beer festival that they had, and I did cupcakes for kids, and it was so successful that they asked me if I would come along and do cupcakes at Halloween, and I was really excited to do that because obviously, as you can hear, I grew up in the States. My birthday's on Halloween as well, so Halloween's a big day to me. Culturally it's important, personally it's important, and what I really love and what I try and do for my son is to just try and bring the fun and the community holidayness of Halloween in the States to here, to things that we do. So events like this, what Morden Hall Park do, has a real American feel to me because it's about sort of community and having fun, and with our cupcakes it's about being a little bit disgusting and, you know, sort of embracing the ghoulish side of Halloween, and just having a good time really, all together in a relaxed environment, beautiful park, so it's good fun.
Funding from Heritage Lottery and Thames Water have enabled us to conserve one of the water wheels to what it may have looked like 200 years ago, and to install an Archimedes screw hydroelectric turbine into the River Wandle. This modern water wheel works on a low head of water and harnesses the power of the river to generate enough electricity to power 18 average households. In addition to this, we run free community events on the first Sunday of every month. We also run an extensive education programme with both led and self-led school visits throughout term time. Restoring the rose garden is an important job to us. Over time, the soil needs to be replaced, and we're now busy clearing all the beds of dying roses and filling them with manure 2 foot deep and replanting the rose varieties that were available in 1930 when the garden was originally planted by the donor of our park. We aim to adhere to an organic programme of feeding and pest control for the benefit of both the roses and also local bees and other wildlife. We have an abundance of wildlife. It's really an oasis in suburbia here, so the park is full of kingfishers, herons. We're frequently visited by a white egret. We have an area of wetlands in the park, and that's allowed to flood during the winter and the spring, which really benefits the herons and other wildlife there. So we also have a heron colony in that area of the park as well, and many visitors will enjoy seeing the herons and if they're lucky, the kingfishers.
Raising money for local charities is a serious business, and one man was motivated to bring comedians from around the country to raise more than a few laughs.
Love Kingston is the only borough-wide fundraising campaign. We support charities and community groups who are working throughout the Royal Borough of Kingston upon Thames. Love Kingston's really fortunate to be the beneficiary of funds raised from the Kingston Comedy Festival, Laugh Kingston. It's in its second year. Last year it raised about £1,000. I think we've just slightly exceeded that amount this year in the donation, which is absolutely fantastic. When somebody gives us a donation, half of that donation goes and supports 5 charity projects working on pathways out of poverty. Those are homelessness, food bank, credit union, domestic violence, and a youth project. The other half of donations go to the Kingston Legacy Fund. It's the first time we've had a legacy fund within the borough. That legacy fund is going to build and grow and provide sustainable giving for the rest of the nigh on 400 charity and community projects working throughout the borough. It's a great way for people to go out, enjoy themselves, get involved, have a laugh, and raise money for people less fortunate than themselves.
I spent so many years living at home, right? I had no job, I had nothing, I was just living at home, I had nothing. My mum once said to me, well, maybe you are just one of those gays who sits in the corner not really saying much. Which would have been alright if it had come at the end of a conversation that hadn't taken place entirely inside her own head. It was like a drive-by shooting with bullets made of worry.
I run a local magazine in Kingston called Omni Local. I met Elaine Miller from Love Kingston, who was setting up the charity pretty much the same time as I set the magazine up, which was about 2.5 years ago. One of the big things about Kingston is it's a fantastic place to live. There's a lot of things around Kingston, and there's quite a few events, but what they were missing was a regular comedy festival point. And I stumbled across a guy called Dan Adams who runs Wild Card Comedy, and he was running a comedy night in Surbiton, and I approached him and said, how hard could it be for us to do this 10 times in 4 days? I had to ply him with lots of alcohol to convince him that this was a good idea, but a lot of hard work, and between me and Dan in 9 weeks we pulled off our first ever Kingston Comedy Festival, which was last year, with the intent on not making any profit that we make going to Love Kingston. It's always very nerve-wracking because people don't generally commit to these sort of things until the very last minute. And if I was to say to you that yesterday, at lunchtime when we checked the ticket sales, we probably only sold about 15 tickets online. But last night was our first night, and we had more than 150 people come to 3 different events, all running at exactly the same time. They all kicked off at 8 o'clock, they all finished around 10:30. So we had about 150 people, so very impressed, very happy with that. And our ticket sales in the last couple of days have been really strong.
I'm a rule breaker. This is what all comedians are doing. So you make yourself useful, love. Can you just take that up there like that? You just take it up. Come on.
I've performed in Kingston a couple of times before, so I know the audiences are always really nice. So I thought I'll come down and give Kingston a go. I like doing comedy festivals as well because it's always a good vibe. The audience know what to expect, so it's not like you're in a nightclub doing comedy in a nightclub to loads of stag do's and hen parties. You know, the audience are very receptive of what you want to do.
The borough of Kingston upon Thames is perceived as such an affluent borough. It's a great place to live and work for many, many people. But unfortunately, there are real pockets of deprivation. 2% of the poorest people living in the UK are living within the borough of Kingston upon Thames on the Cambridge estate. They're living side by side with 2% of the wealthiest people in the UK. And it's our job to work together to bridge that divide.
Now, how many people can claim to have fish for freshwater sardines? How about golfing with dough balls? Well, one organisation certainly can, as they've made a name for themselves arranging silly events for charity. Our reporter, Joss, went to find out more.
11 a.m. on Sunday the 19th of October in Surbiton Town Centre. Around 30 volunteers begin to set up the necessary equipment for the annual event, Ski Sunday, transforming the area into a makeshift downhill ski slope. The unusual part of the event? A reverse in the physics of skiing. A delivery of prepared blocks of ice that will be attached to the participants' feet with laces. As the crowd gathers, the volunteers prepare the slope with water and washing up liquid to aid the skiers on their descent down the hill. People come together for what is the 5th anniversary of this charitable event. Getting bigger by the year, Ski Sunday now attracts hundreds of visitors from as far out as Sweden and Germany. This year, an estimated 800 to 1,000 people attended.
And 1, 2, 3.
The Community Brain arranged the big day, raising money for Shooting Star Chase, a charity who made children and their families in time of need, by providing hospice care and support during a time of illness and bereavement.
Oh, Charlie! Charlie! Oh.
Even Councillor Hilary Gander and local MP Edward Davey took part in the event to show their support for the local community.
Oh, it's veering to the right now. Oh! Oh, well done, Ed. Big cheer.
The event also featured a makeshift luge, designed from a bath with ice strapped to its feet to carry teams of 2 to 3 contestants down the hill. One of the participants from further afield includes this man, Bastian Kemmerich.
Bastian is from Munich in Germany, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, Kingston is twinned with Oldenburg in Germany, but Seething is now officially twinned with Munich, ladies and gentlemen. And in a touching ceremony of friendship, we're going to send him down a soapy slope on ice.
Ready? And 1, 2, 3, you're away!
What was your time in the end?
13 seconds. So not quite the world record, but yeah. We obviously gave some donations to the charity early on. My mate Tom called me last night and said, yeah, want to join in the team. We got disqualified as a team in the end because one of our teammates didn't pass through the line, but yeah.
So you won.
Brilliant event, love it. And next year maybe this guy's going to enter as well, huh? Philip. Yeah?
Another contestant, Aniela Zaba, also helped to curate the event.
So you competed today?
I did, yeah. My 5th time competing. I smashed my personal best today by 20 seconds.
Why did you take part? What do you do?
Well, I'm quite involved with organising all the community events in Seething anyway, so I'm part of the Community Brain, which is the organisation that kind of helps try and bring the community together. So I've been involved with all the events here for the last 6 years, so it seems silly not to ski when you're making other people almost break their legs. You should probably try and do it yourself.
Robin Hutchinson, the event organiser, oversaw the day's proceedings and provided commentary throughout the event.
We call ourselves the Community Brain, but we run it from a project called The Spirit of Seething, which is a concept that actually everywhere's better if it's creative, energetic and fun. Over the last 6 odd years, we've probably raised about £86,000 for different charities. Shooting Star Chase were one of the first ones we supported because dealing with a child and a family at a time where it's probably the most painful that anybody will experience, they just need support. And then
Why are we hearing this?
Amadou Ski Sunday.
New artists.
Have you ever competed?
No. My role in life is to create stupid events and not do them. So many years ago I thought it would be quite fun to see if you could reverse the science of skiing. Turns out you can, roughly. But no way in a million years would I do it. Yeah. If you go to the website seethingwells.org, you can see a year of nonsense in front of your very eyes.
A sum of around £2,500 was raised for Shooting Star Chase, beating previous years since Ski Sunday began. Many charities rely on volunteers to keep going. Kingston University has had a volunteer programme since 2001, which has made a huge difference in the Kingston community. The programme has 300 active members who are able to contribute 3,500 hours a year to help local charities and organisations. And I have with me Will Frandon and Sarah Dutton, who help organise some of the university charity events. So what are some of the events that you have taken part in this year?
Well, we've done a number of things over the past year. We've got a bee project going at the moment. We ran a river clean in May of last year where we went into the Thames River and took out a load of different things that were in the river. And then just recently we had a Winterfest event on here on campus to promote our volunteering opportunities and the different things that we're doing.
So they were pretty successful then.
Yeah. We had a lot of students show up to both of those events, and then at the Winterfest event, we had a lot of different sign-ups, both with our different volunteering opportunities and then the different community projects that we have going.
Okay. If a student wanted to be part of this volunteering thing, how would they go about joining the program?
Well, they can either come in and do it with us in the office, or they can come in. They can go to our website, and sign on there. And any student can do it, regardless of where they're from, how old they are, what their background is.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yep. Thank you. Well.
Now, that's all we have time for in this program. We'll be back next time with more news and views from around the region.